What's going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Friday live stream on the Taurean Rain Reloaded channel. As you know, every Friday we go live at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we just talk about a bunch of different things that occur throughout the week. But today will be a little bit different because today I have a guest. You know, every now and then I like to do a collab on my channel with various different people, especially those who've never been on my channel before. But before I bring the guest up, I'm going to see who we have all in the chat. Let's see, Chris Glover, Gnome King, Janesta, Darlene, Boulder Rockets, Jamal Bay, K-Bod, Blackjack 21, Stephanie, Mark Stewart, AV the Great, J-Dog. Also, if y'all can do me a favor, if you haven't done so already, can you please like and share the stream? I would greatly appreciate it. Share it on all social media platforms that you have. And we will be getting started shortly. Let's see who else we have in here. Let's see. Loud Green, Ancestral Rage, Donna, Negress of Judah, Maximus Royalty, Isaiah. What's going on? What is going on? J-Ron Lonnie, Chris Rocks, Pinky JYB. What's going on? Michelle A. How has everybody's week been so far? Let's see. True says Shalom from California. It is interesting. First off, shout out to everybody who is from Cali today, because the guest that I do have on with me today is from Cali, from the left coast. I know I have some Cali followers and subscribers on my channel, so this is going to be even more interesting. Let's see here. Let's see. Anthony, Intelligent Cycle Syndicate J. Shout out to all of you that's in the chat right now. The guest is currently waiting in the backgrounds to be brought in, but I'm waiting for some more people to come in, and then we will officially get started. Let's see who else we have in here. Carl the Angry Libra. Salute to you. OLC. Shout out to Texas. Lotus Flower, Goddess Unity. Shout out to you. And smash that like button. If you've come into this chat and you type before you smash that like, what's going on? That should be one of the first things you do before you type anything in this chat. Let's see what's going on. Alu Hallelujah. Yapa, what's going on? Vulcan 2050 Full Solo Dolo, what's going on? Ashen, salute to you. Yes, this is going to be a very good stream today. I like when I get a chance to collab with my peers. What's going on? Nubian DNA. Carla Lockhart from New Jersey. Shout out to the Garden State. Let's see who else we got in here. Gumbo Boys 85. Salute to you. And shout out to all the new people. If you just found my channel today and you hit that subscribe button, shout out to you. Let's see who else. Biggest Lil Vest 313. Shout out to you. Richard Copeland, David Sim. All right, I'm about to bring the guest in and we're going to officially get started. If y'all are not too familiar with who this person is, his name is Townbizz. He is a YouTuber from the West Coast. I've been following him for like the last couple of years now, as he has been following me. We're big fans of each other's work, and we pretty much talk about some of the same things. He is a part of this organization called the LDBC, which is the Line Dance Boxing Community. And if he chooses to, he can go into more detail about that, and then we'll go into the various topics that we're going to discuss today. So I'm going to add him to the stream right now, and we'll go ahead and get started. Tom, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on? I think this is the first time that I had you on my channel.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but I'm ready. I can handle this.
Oh yeah, because like I said, some of the people that follow me, they probably follow you, or if they didn't follow you already, they're gonna follow you after the day for sure.
Well, that's fine. That's
Trust and believe, because we kind of talk about, like I said, some of the same things, and we have like a no nonsense attitude towards a lot of different things. So if the people who follow me can vibe with me, and if I can put a good word in about somebody else, they know I'm not going to steer them in the wrong direction. So if I recommend that they subscribe to somebody, they'll do it.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes you can't worry about backlash. You can't always say what people want to hear, and you can't present it to them in a way where it's delicate. Sometimes you got to hit them with the hard truth, and that's just basically what I try to provide on my channel, as well as covering sports. I cover a variety of, different things. So, I like to have something for everybody, and I try to make my channel as co-ed as possible. It's not just for men. It's for women and men and children for the most part, more mature children. Because at the
Exactly.
end of the day, I try to educate. So at the end of the day, my purpose is to just speak on certain subjects and, be a pillar to the community, and you know what I'm saying, and basically show support for my black men and black sisters out there. So, I'm not doing this. I'm not anti-black woman. I'm not anti-black man. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just black. I'm just black first, period.
Exactly. Because me and you, 7-8, who was another member of the LDBC, and the 1LVZ, who was also a member of the LDBC. I'm the only one we were supposed to do a panel on your channel about a certain individual. We'll just say the Russian DJ, quote unquote, because we ain't gonna say his name on here, because the last time we said his name on your channel, they tampered with it. And we were supposed to do a live about him about a month ago. And unfortunately, that fell through because of the algorithm picking it up. They don't like when we talk about him or mention his name, even though he should be put on blast at all costs, no matter what, considering the type of person that he is. And it's topics like that I like to talk about in a group setting. Like, I can do it by myself, but it's fun or more interesting when you get other people's perspective, especially when, for the most part, many people agree about the topic at hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we know who that individual is. One of the biggest culture vultures out there. This dude is told constant lies about where he's really from. I mean, this dude really loves to exploit, basically black people for profit.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically he asks them questions. Most of the time he interviews just primarily rappers and, you know, um, other forms of black entertainers. He asks them questions like just stuff he shouldn't be asking them, and he gets them to a certain degree to incriminate themselves. And he just asks them a lot of personal questions that you shouldn't be asking. And I know for a fact that they are people that have had cases put on them talking to this dude, or at least been questioned,
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I don't know why black people keep talking to this dude. And one of the things that bother me is that, some black entertainers will go out of their way not to talk to us, but talk to guys like them who purposely are out to just exploit them, for self profit. And
Mm-hmm.
it bothers me because when you request interviews with these individuals, they don't want to talk to you, but they will go out of their way to talk to guys that look like him. And then when you call them out on it, then all of a sudden they want to talk to you, or they'll hit you with that term you hear all the time. Oh, it's not like that. Well, it appears it is like that, because when I've asked to talk to you, you you blown me off,
Right.
but you go out of your way to talk to this dude, and
Exactly.
it just trips me out.
Yeah,
So
and after it pretty much got exposed about him with the whole Farrakhan situation, because that's when I was watching 5150 with Corey Holcomb, that's how I found out about it. And I think that's how a lot of people did. I think it was like last month or maybe a couple months ago, and I was like, oh, really? I mean, I knew he was bad, but he is like bottom of the barrel bad to do or pull that stunt that he did, and people went in on him. But like you said, people continue to still go to him for interviews all the time. And the thing is, he doesn't just interview like uh celebrities that we're familiar with. He been interviewing some underground people or even people that are no name individuals. And he still like it's almost like he sets it up in a way where they are out there literally pouring out their soul to this guy, not realizing that he is the one that is trying to kick up dust. It's like for some reason a lot of us don't have proper interviewee etiquette. Like we was like, did you not see the finesse that he just tried to pull? Like it's so easy to figure out. For starters, you should not have even gone onto that platform knowing this guy's history. That's starters. And how he managed to get this platform to where it is, I don't know.
and that's funny that you brought that up, because like I said, I see the same thing. I'm just like, why is it that we have this mentality where we have to be validated by talking to people like him? You know, he the last person, if they requested an interview with me, I would talk to. You know, because at the end of the day, I've said this on several occasions, and I'm starting to get some feedback too, because I've made it very clear. If you guys want to talk to somebody, if you know, reach out to me, somebody
Right.
that really do have your best interest. And now, and you know, I got a lot of things set up. You know, I got some some big time interviews coming up. Well, I feel that's important to my channel and important to my outlet, because
Exactly.
like I said, it's better to talk to somebody like me than a dude like him, because at the end of the day, Taurean, we still have this sense that, like I said, when you talk to guys like him, it still feels like, to a certain degree, you need validation and self-validation from people like him. And at the end of the day, we have to understand we don't need guys like him to validate us.
Right.
Those people, I feel like there's people that talk to guys like him are those people that feel like it's cool for guys like him to use the N-word around us and stuff. And when we hear a guy like him use the N-word, we think it's some reverse sixth sense, as is a badge of honor, when at the end of the day, the dude is really demeaning us. And some
Mhm.
of us have that mentality. So that's the problem. Like I've said on several occasions, quit talking to that dude. You're available, I'm available. We got just as many followers or people that got outlets, that if you trying to establish yourself, you could talk to me, you. It's quite a few people that we can direct you. If you somebody, if you are an artist, you an actor, you got a project coming out, it's better that you talk to us, you
Mhm.
know, guys like him. Because at the end of the day, in most cases, we got your best interest. You got a project that's coming out, talk to us. If
Mhm.
somebody say, hey, Town, Torian Rain got his outlet is a little bit bigger than yours, or his outlet is bigger, I like to talk. I'll be like, hey, I'll give you his number, or I'll have him contact you.
Right.
It's ways that artists can promote their projects without talking to guys like him. And for real, at the end of the day, we got to stop making guys like him rich. This dude makes a lot of money. I'll put it to you this way: I heard
Yeah.
he got a gigantic house in Calabasas, California.
Yeah.
And another thing,
This him just doing these type of interviews. He got uh he got rocketed into a whole nother stratosphere of a tax bracket. Like
yeah,
just doing these type of interviews.
yeah, but the whole Farrakhan thing, once again, he was trying to bait Farrakhan into coming on his outlet, and it didn't work. And a lot of people called him out on it because they finally saw what he was trying to do. Now I know there were people that say, hey, man, I'm not talking to this dude anymore. And Corey Holcomb exposed this dude like a while ago. Now he sat up there begging Corey Holcomb to come on his outlet. And Corey Holcomb said, "Okay, well, I'll do your show, but you have to do mine."
And
But
you
he
know that
started,
ain't gonna happen.
yeah. So he started hollering this stuff about, oh, well, he don't like being on camera and all this kind of shit. But he want everybody to be on camera with him and stuff. So
Like we don't know what he looked like.
I know what he looks like.
I know what he looks like too. That's why I said like we don't know what he looks like. I've
Yeah,
gone online and seen his picture. It's not like he's some mystery figure.
yeah, it's not. Yeah, because it's not like you can't find out what he looks like because he started off making these whack ass mixtapes. He used to call himself the Butcher. So I already knew about this dude's history. So I knew about him years ago. But all of a sudden he started doing these interviews and stuff, and then it just it got to where it is now. But you do have certain people that refuse to talk to him, which is good. But as I said before, I'm just puzzled, and my mind just be like going in circles when I wonder why people continue to talk to this dude and they know what this dude is all about. But once again, I figured out it's about that, that validation, that stamp of approval from, the palm colored people, which I don't need it.
Right.
So no.
And speaking of culture vultures, because anybody who's familiar with you, it's another person that you really don't that you really don't, and I'm laughing at it right now. It's another person that you don't like either, besides that person. And let's just say that they're named after a candy. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's another person that you can't stand. You can't stand the fact that a lot of black people like overhype him and put him at the top of their list, even above people that he shouldn't even be above.
Yeah. Well, I've been saying this, like I said, about Marshall Bruce Matters. Like I said the dude was good, but when you say somebody like him is the best that ever did it, I think it's laughable. Because if you are a true hip hop follower, and like I said, I've been following hip hop since its inception in 78, 79 from the Sugar Hill Gang. You look at all the people that came before him. And the funny part about it is that tripped me out. People act like this dude was like some people act like he was the first actual white rapper, which that's not even remotely close. It was people way in
Oh yeah, of course.
way before he came around. Third Base, you had just a lot of, Third Base, you had Everlast, you just had quite a few people. But then you listen to his songs. The funny thing about his songs, you listen to his lyrics and you think like, man, if I was a black artist and I made raps about killing my mother and all it, and then all, and some of the homosexual acts that he's talked about on this records, you'd be like, I wouldn't even have a career. I mean, this dude, like, if you really listen to him, it's just like, okay, he really doesn't say anything that just like blows you away. Like, I think I really think the phenomenon that was really behind him was because he linked up with Dr. Dre. Because I think if he and Dr. Dre had, he had the reputation, he was considered one of the best hip hop producers out there. I think if he had came under anybody but Dr. Dre, I think he would already be gone by now. Because at the end of the day, I really think it was Dr. Dre that made him. Once it was determined, and once it came out that Dr. Dre was going to help put this dude out, I think was really his claim to fame. Now he went on to flourish after it, but I really think his persona is due to the fact that that he was backed by Dr. Dre. And the thing is about him, you can't even have a normal debate about this dude with his erratic fans without them criticizing you and saying, "Oh, well, you just don't like him because he's not black." And it's just like, no, I don't like him because he hasn't made good music in a while. He just ain't making good music. And the thing is, why is it that he's the only one that's like that? That's just, you can't say anything about him. You can't criticize him in no type of way. without his erratic fans like trying to attack you.
Mm-hmm.
And they the ones that make it a racial thing.
Right.
He goes to think, how come it's okay for me and you to criticize a black rapper, or if they sit up there and say, hey, I don't like Nas' new album, or I don't like Snoop Dogg's new album, we'd be like, okay, well, that's cool. But
Mm-hmm.
we don't sit up there and say, oh, you're a racist. You don't like his music because he. But then sit up and say, well, I don't like dudes. I don't like Marshall's new album. You're just hating. So, well, why is it if they criticize our rappers, they're just critiquing, but if we say something about that dude, oh, we're hating, it's reverse racism. It's just laughable, you know, the where
Exactly.
they, yeah, it's just laughable. And like
Yeah,
I said before, ain't nobody gonna stop me from saying what I have to say about him. If I say his music is whack, it's whack.
I
If
like
I say
I be waiting for you to do a video about Marshall every single time, because you always throw a disclaimer in there, and he's like, I know you Marshall fans gonna come under this video and you gonna try to talk your shit, but I'm here to tell you right now, F you. And then you go into your dialogue about him, and I laugh at that every single time because you know it's coming, because like they prop this guy up so much. Like you said, like someone said in the chat, his music ages badly. I can only think of a couple of songs by him that I can actually say stood the test of time, and I would say one for sure is "Lose Yourself." I think that's like a song that I think everybody, for the most part, actually liked by him. But I can't really say that it's too many more out there where he should be propped up there with the greats of those we consider to be the GOAT.
exactly, let me ask you something. This is just real talk. I bet any person that listen to hip hop, I bet you can name off the top of your head, if they just told you just off the rip, you just a random person
Mm-hmm.
walked up to you and said, name 15 Snoop Dogg songs, you would be like, oh, Gin and Juice, Ups and Downs, Lay Low. I mean, you could just, if somebody random person walked up to you and said, name 15 Eminem songs, you probably would be stuck, because at the
Right.
end of the day, all he really has is fillers. What do
Mm-hmm.
he really like? What, like, for real? What smash hit records do? Yeah, he sold a lot of records, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, like you said, his music is not ages. You don't talk about, man. I remember, like I said, we can talk about when Doggy Style first came out, the buzz around Dog. We could talk about when Enter the Woo came out. We could talk about when A Tribe Called Quest put out Midnight Marauders, or put out the Low End Theory. We could talk about when Dr. Dre put out the Chronic. We could talk about when Paid in Full came out. But do you really do? I don't see too many people sitting up saying, "Man, do you remember when Marshall dropped that song?" Because for real, I'm just telling the truth. He don't have I'm serious. And they don't play him. They don't play him at the club.
Nope.
That's another thing. How you all-time
Mm.
great if you don't have, like, if people can't even at least name random hip hop fans? He got a certain type of people that listen to him. He don't have
Mm-hmm.
random, like I said, I've been out on plenty of dates. I've never heard any lady ask me to play his records. I've
I'm,
been to clubs. I've never seen anybody request to hear this dude's song. So at the end of the day, once again, I need you explain to me, how is he the greatest rapper of all time, being a all-time greatest, being able to cross over to many different genres. Snoop Dogg, like I said, ladies love his songs. They
mm-hmm.
play. I done been on dates where a lady had put in Snoop Dogg songs, or I'm with the homeboys in the hood, or we just riding around there, put in Snoop Dogg or E40 or somebody like that. So nobody has ever said, "Hey man, throw on Marshall." So
Exactly.
there you go.
And it's crazy you said something about the club, because I remember when I was in college, whenever we would have like a gym party, something like that. Now I went to college from the years of '07 to 2011. So at that time, Eminem was still, I guess you can say, in his prime. And whenever they got to like the throwback section of the party, where they would throw play a lot of songs from the '90s and stuff like that, or the early 2000s, Not one of his songs played. I don't remember even songs he would be featured on. I never heard any songs on there with him. And then a lot of the times, whenever he had a song that was out that was hot, it was a featured song. Like I saw someone in the chat wrote "Love the Way You Lie." I said the only reason people really like that song is because of Rihanna's part. To be quite honest, like if you ask anybody about that song, they always gonna sing her part.
See, I don't even remember. That's what I'm saying. I don't even remember that song.
Yeah, it was a big song when it came out, but I think it was her part because at that time that's when she was hot. So I think it was more so her part in the song that people remember more so than his part, and it was more of his song than her. She just sung the chorus.
Okay. See,
If you heard
that's
if you heard the song, you're like, oh, okay, now I know what you're talking about.
okay. Yeah, cause see, that's what I'm saying. Like once he put something out, certain people may hear it, and then you and they'll talk about it, and then it's sort of like it it disappears. Like I said, he has his erratic rabbit fans that will go out and buy his stuff. I will say this: he do have a loyal fan base. I will give him that much because it. I will give him that much. But this all-time GOAT thing, and he better than some of the other people that touched the mic. You know, the Rakims and the Nas's, even. And I'm not even the biggest Jigga fan, but you know, guys like that, I just don't know about that. And as far as record sales goes, you know, when people say, well, he had an album that sold 10 million records. Well, you know what? MC Hammer sold, one of his albums sold 14 million copies. Outkast, what was that double album they had? Speaker Box of Love.
Below. Yeah.
Yeah, that sold like 10 million records. So
yeah, that was huge. That was huge for a hip hop group to do that those kind of numbers.
Yeah, so let's not make it look like we haven't sold those type of units too. So I mean, I'm just saying, when they say, "Oh, well, he sold this," look, like I said, I never said the dude couldn't rap. I just said this GOAT stuff. I think that's absurd. Record sales don't define you as being the greatest, especially when you listen to the person's music. Because like I said, you listen to his music, like I said, it doesn't age very well. Like I said, it's been, let me tell you something. Let me tell you how I can debunk that whole GOAT notion thing. Notorious B.I.G. made only 2 studio albums. One he made while he was alive, ready to die, and then shortly after he passed away, he put, unfortunately, Life After Death, which that's ironic that he put the album out called Life After Death. People are still talking about Ready to Die. The man, people are still talking about, and that just goes to show you the test of time. That album came out 25 years ago. That album came out like 1994. People are still talking about this album to this day. And people are still talking about Biggie as being one of the all-time greats. Some people say he's the greatest rapper that ever lived. And this man only put out 2 studio albums.
Yep.
2. This man didn't put out like 10. But you still can't name, you still could name, like, this man only put out 2 albums, 2 studio albums, and you still could name like 20 Biggie Small songs off the top of your head. Where Eminem, you can't walk up to the average hip hop fan and tell them name 20 Eminem songs, especially if they're a black man or a black woman. They'll be like, huh? There you go.
Exactly.
So stop it with this GOAT stuff.
Exactly. And before we go on to like the main topic, I want to touch on another, like one more vulture that you don't like, and I think this will complete the trinity, I think, and that's Skittle bags.
You know what, that hey, that's funny, but I told you that this was gonna happen. Me and you was texting each other. Like, as you can see now, the hype is over with him. And see, now all that stuff he was doing is played out. Nobody cares about him no more. All this stuff getting on social media, like trying to start these fake beefs, trying to pay people to beef with him and stuff. You know, now that his star is falling, the funny thing is now he has to try to go on the road.
And what role?
Now,
And what? Hold on. What role he going on? Who he gonna be performing for?
and that exactly, who gonna come see him? Due to the fact that this dude is labeled like, I mean, this dude is a flat out snitch.
Mm-hmm.
See, now, like I said, the money running low. His, as you know, his last album flopped.
Mm-hmm.
Flopped.
Yeah, because I think uh Big Sean's album, I think it's called Detroit 2 or Detroit Part 2. And
Detroit Part Two.
Detroit Part 2 actually sold way more records than his did, because I think they came out like around the same time, and his actually beat his by many units. And I think a lot of it was because people were either fans of Big Sean or they just didn't want to see Rainbow Road get any sales.
Exactly. I think it had got to the point, Taurean, people was like, okay, we've had enough of this. Like, it's time for this dude to go away. Like, it got to the point to where his album flopped so bad, it got to the point to where he was in certain places in New York, like passing out like hard copies of his album, the CD. And
Wow.
I was laughing. I say, now I know it's over. Have you heard from this dude since his album flopped? No, because now nobody cares about him anymore. He
Mm-hmm.
had his little run. He had his little run, and then it played out. People was like, okay, enough of this. Too much stuff is going on to be worried about this clown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he should have took the witness protection. At the end of the day, I will say this. My advice to him is you need to cut your hair and take that money that you got, the money that you got left, go disappear somewhere and just keep a low profile. Get those but at the end of the day, somebody gonna eventually recognize him, because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, it's gonna get to the point. Look, um, you don't have no, you're not gonna keep having the same revenue coming in that you once had. So how long you gonna be able to afford to have those 6 and 7 bodyguards that travel with you? Because that's gonna cost a lot of money. That costs out. This man probably is paying like $20,000 a month at the very least for that security, or probably
Okay.
more than that. So you got to ask yourself, if you really ain't got constant revenue covering what you spending, then at the end of the day, you losing money. So eventually he gonna have to look at himself and be like, okay, I don't have the resources coming in like I used to. So now what? Do I have to start like cutting some of these people?
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, so eventually, like I said, it's gonna get to the point where he may have to try to travel and get on the road. But the question is, who wants to come see this dude perform? Who
And
would
who
pay
going
money?
and who going to risk their health in the midst of a pandemic to come see him?
Exactly. So I think at the end of the day, once again, my advice to him is to lay low, because eventually, like I said, somebody is gonna get through that security.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody
Shoot, it might be somebody in that security.
security. So the first time, and you already know, we in the day and age where people love to film themselves doing something. So the first dude that films himself like socking this dude, and especially if he puts him to sleep, then it's really over for him. And we already know the dude ain't much of a fighter. So I mean,
Right.
so we already know that that's really gonna be the end of him. So as you can see now, it's been real quiet, and that's the way I like it. When you don't hear from this dude, the world is a better place and music is a better place.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing, behind the scenes, a lot of these rappers have pretty much shut him out. They pretty much have said, hey, don't, for the most part, don't do no records with this dude. At the end of the day, he need to go. He bad for the culture. He bad for the image.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm glad.
his light is turning dim. He thought that doing all of that snitching and stuff, that people was really gonna hang on to that. But then I think what also happened is people was telling him, like, look, snitching is nothing to be glorified. And people was like on the verge really of doing that. And it was like, what the hell is really going on when that becomes a thing? And then I think, because the thing is, he's now become a gimmick. And he can't, and he's like a one trick pony. He can't do anything else but that. So he just be like starting social media beefs and all kinds of stuff like that. When that goes away, what do you have?
Yeah, exactly. And it got to the point where people said, okay, this is tired. We know what this dude is doing. He's trying to keep his name afloat. And when you give this dude attention, he likes it.
Mm-hmm.
You're keeping it relevant. And that's what I kept saying. The best thing for us to do is not even talk about this dude.
Right.
Because he want us to keep his name out there. And I'm pretty sure it's been like, what, a couple of months now. I'm pretty sure he gonna try to pull some kind of stunt to get people talking about him again. And the best thing to do, the only time I'm gonna report something is when he is permanently not here anymore. So at the end of the day, like you said, why are we sitting up here like celebrating the dude that? And for the most part, and this is what I was telling people, do y'all know who he snitched on? This is a non-black person that snitched on a whole bunch of black people that helped get him to where he is. Say what you want to say. You can holler about they were still stealing money from him, allegedly, and they posed they had messed around with his girlfriend, allegedly. But at the end of the day, that's on him. That's that. What about what you was doing?
Exactly.
You know, what about what you was doing? What about how you tried to put a hit out on Chief Keef? So what about what you was doing? You know, but say what you want to say. That money that you got now, that you paying for that security, that you was bragging about, that you made, well, guess what? Who helped you get it? Once again, this is the problem that I have with our people helping guys like him get put on, who sat up there and was doing nothing but tormenting and talking a whole bunch of shit about black people, calling black people the N-word and all that kind of stuff, you know, which that's a whole nother subject. That's a whole nother topic, sitting up there saying some of the stuff he was saying. And then you had people sitting up there, some people trying to justify what this dude did. Oh, well, they did this. Get out of here, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear that stuff, man, because like I said, I come from that environment. First of all, man, you don't tell on nobody no matter what. It's always been this thing. You get caught, you get caught. Like I said, when I got caught, oh man, who do you work for? Oh, who's your supplier? Man, I don't know what you talked about. I'm the supplier. I'm the connect. That's that you kill that conversation right then and there. But like I said, this dude was fingering everybody and their mama, and he wasn't fingering them in a sexual way for ladies, pardon my French, but he was fingering everybody. I mean, this dude was like doing like an R&B singer, like Lenny Williams from Tower Power, going you. That's all. I mean, for real. So that's all I'm saying. All the people that he took down was us. So once again, why were we sitting up here defending this clown? That's all he did.
Exactly.
And then I told you, Taurean, from the gate, that this dude was some kind of plan, because why are they letting you perform and go to high schools and you have a conviction, you have a sexual assault conviction that you could look up. So I already knew something wasn't right about this dude. Like, wait a minute. You got a conviction for, doing an inappropriate act with an underage girl. But somehow, some way, you just walking around freely. You didn't register as a sex offender, but then they let you go to high schools and talk to kids. You know yourself, when you have that kind of conviction, they don't want you nowhere near kids.
Exactly.
So I said, yeah, I told you, Taurean, from the gate. I said that dude is some kind of plant. He's some kind of plant, and people need to watch out. And then, like I said, lo and behold, then all this stuff came out when this man went to court and just started telling on everybody. I warned people about this dude. Most people listen, but some people, once again, you had certain people want to cape for this dude, which, like I said, I don't understand. But now people see what type of dude this person is. And like I said, I'm not giving this dude no type of publicity. Like I said, the only thing I'm going to celebrate is when something happened to him. And you know what I'm talking about.
I might be the same way. And it's crazy because Like people, when all that stuff was going on with him, I had like some of my subscribers would email me like articles about him that they wanted me to talk about, and I told them, look, I said I'm not doing too many videos about him, and if you look on my channel, I don't have many videos about him. This is probably the first time I talked about him on my channel, and I don't know how long. And the only reason I'm doing it is because you're here. Otherwise, I would never bring him up until when that time comes, and it will come because it always does.
Yeah, we all know it's coming. It's just a question of when, because at the end of the day, he gonna get comfortable. He gonna get comfortable, and he gonna show up somewhere, and it's gonna happen out of nowhere. Because he gonna get to eventually, it's gonna get to the point to where he get tired of all that running. If he continues to stay here, like I said, eventually, when he can't afford the security, which I think that's already happening, because like I said, this dude is paying tens of thousands of dollars for that security that he got.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's not making the money that he once was making. Because like I said, your album has flopped, and you already know, Taurean, if you don't sell records, well, what do you have to do? You have to go on tour.
Exactly.
And like you said, one, who's gonna pay money to come see him? And then at the end of the day, there's certain places that still don't let you perform live. So, and then if you can perform live, it's limited seating. So, I mean, you really not gonna make no money off that.
Exactly.
So I hope he got somebody that could help him invest his money, which he probably too stupid to do that, because he don't look like he's smart enough to do that. Right. So at the end of the day, I think for his sake, it's best for him to just disappear. Right. If I was him, I'd move to Venezuela, or I'd move to Mexico or something. Or like I said, I'd cut my hair, get them tattoos removed. I go work in Idaho or something, or Wyoming, as a truck driver, because he can't come to California because somebody will recognize him. He'll be spotted instantly. I don't think he can show up in the DMV, places like that, they'll recognize him.
Almost definitely.
He could go to, like I said, he could go to Wyoming, he could go to South Dakota, he could probably go to I ain't even gonna say Delaware because that's too close to Pennsylvania. Like maybe he can go up to Maine or somewhere and work as a truck driver where nobody ain't gonna notice him, and he better not drive trucks like nationwide, because like I said, somebody might recognize him. And I think the best thing that's going on, at least in music, is we not hearing from him. Without that dude, like I said, the best thing that's going on in music is we not hearing his name, and we not hearing people talk about him. But like I said, I knew this was going to end shortly. When his album flopped, I told you. When his album flopped, I told you it was over. Right. It was over. The people had spoken. They was like, we had enough of this. Go away, please.
Right. Before I go forward, shout out to everybody who has hit the super chat. I know I haven't been really reading it because I've been so engaged in this conversation, but shout out to everybody who has contributed so far. I saw quite a few of them come in. But now that we have taken care of that, let's get into what we're really here to talk about, and that's this election. And I am framing it as this election. Like everywhere I go and I talk about it, I just refer to it as this election, because this is probably one of the most interesting elections since Bush and Gore back in 2000. Now, that time I couldn't vote. Like I wasn't old enough to vote at that time, but I do remember everything that happened. But at least with that, it was only condensed to one state. This right here is chaotic. Now, you've talked about some things on your channel concerning the election, and I've talked about some things referring to this election and everything like that. And it's still being talked about even to this day. I told people I was being very centered with this. I wasn't on anybody's side. I still stand firmly on that. And the reason why that is because whenever I get the chance to talk about it or give smoke, that means I can't say I'm being biased. I said the conservatives, Republicans, the right, they'll get smoked. The left, the liberals, and the Democrats will get smoked too, whenever I see fit. And the thing is, like, if I picked a side, then it would be like, okay, like, who is he going to talk about today? Or like, oh, he's talking more about them. He's talking about more about them. No, I'm talking about them equally for the issues that I've seen. I will say, and it gives a lot of good content. It gives a lot of good content when it comes to everything with the selection process. But I've been seeing the stuff that you've been putting out there about, and you cracked me up when you gave them these names, JoJo and Cam Cam.
Well, I mean, you know, it was this thing. We knew this was coming. I've been trying to say this for the longest. Like, I told you months ago that I wasn't voting for neither one of them. Mm-hmm. You never heard me say that I was a Trump supporter. And it's been this thing where, if you really look at this election, like I said, what did the people on the opposite side have to offer us? Why were we celebrating this dude that have a long history of racism and white supremacy himself? And I told you, Joe Biden calling Donald Trump a racist was just, that was the most laughable thing I ever seen in my life. Right. I mean, for real, that was like a neo-Nazi arguing with a KKK member over who's more racist, you know, or a heroin addict arguing with a crack addict about who's a junkie, because they didn't call him Jim Crow Joe for nothing. Exactly. And as far as, you know, Cam go, she the one that all of a sudden who didn't become black until she decided to run for the presidency, because she was calling herself Indian. Then all of a sudden, as usual, she knew that it's easy to sway black people. So all of a sudden she started doing this extreme pandering, going to soul food restaurants she never been to, and putting hot sauce on greens and stuff. And probably as soon as she went to the bathroom, she probably spit that shit out or threw it up or something. So, I mean, she probably asked to eat some lamb after she got out of those, fraudulent pandering press conferences and stuff, because she's never aligned herself with being black. And then all of a sudden you just had these, people adopt her and make her this self-proclaimed soul sister with something she's never been part of. Now keep in mind, I'm from Oakland, California. I was born in Oakland, California. I was born at Highland Hospital in 1974 on September the 29th. And Highland Hospital is not too far from my old hood. So I'm just saying, I really am from Oakland. Kamala Harris was just born in Oakland, but she went to school in Berkeley. And then once again, they was trying to pass her off as some so-called black woman that had ties to the Bay Area. And if anybody really from the Bay Area, if they honest, and especially a black woman that ain't trying to get caught up in this black female neo-Nazi feminist movement shit, they'll tell the truth about Kamala Harris. She has never had any ties to the black community.
And one thing that really struck me as just like a blow to me was finding out that this woman locked up more black people, mostly black men, than the three previous people before her who had that same position. They said she was locking them up by the dozens. And I saw a video, and I think you posted it up on your channel yesterday. And I saw it first on Michi X's channel, where it was this guy that's in prison right now, when he's been in since he was like 14 or something like that.
14.
He got a 27-year charge for robbery.
Exactly.
For robbery. And I don't even think it was armed robbery.
Nah, it was. I gotta find the young man's name, because I don't want to give these people like false information. But I'm gonna find this young man's name. At the end of the day, he was a kid, And this is the thing with us, Taurean. We're not allowed to make a mistake. It doesn't matter whether we're a celebrity or whether we just a random Joe or a random sister that's just walking around, an everyday roundaway girl or boy, because we're not allowed. It's been, I'll give you an example. It's been like over 10 years since that Chris Brown and Rihanna thing happened. They still talking about that. And it's funny how everybody want to forgive Joe Joe Biden for the things that he's done. This man passed more laws along with his, with Bill Clinton and, and his Negro collaborator, John Lewis, Mr. I love getting my ass kicked by white people, and I'm not going to fight back. And like I said, Kamala Harris has a horrible history as a DA and an attorney general. She took more black men and women from their families, like you said, than her, the people that she succeeded. And then all of a sudden you got these dumbass, and I'm going to go there, these dumbass, ignoramus, feminist black women parading her around like she's some soul sister and trying to pass her off as black, and at the end of the day, look who she married to. That's another elephant in the room that they don't want to talk about. They don't want to address that. Look who she lie down with every day. Kamala Harris ain't never had black people's back. Like I said, she was very tough on people for nonviolent crimes. Like I said, that young man, and this is what pissed me off. Okay, Taurean, I done seen in your comment section where people say, hey, come on, give him a chance. Well, did she give that brother a chance to redeem himself?
Nope.
Before she stuck him with 27 years, she could have said, okay, I'm gonna give you 3 years, and then I'm gonna give you a chance to redeem himself. But he's sitting rotting away in prison. But she didn't give him a chance. She didn't give all them black women who had reasonable or parents that had reasons why they couldn't send their kids to school, and she didn't have no problem locking them up, sending SWAT teams. She was sending SWAT teams, multiple police to arrest a person for truancy. Are you serious? And it's always that, well, they was trying to pass the law before she got it. Well, she pushed it through. Like I said, her history, all you got to do is look it up. I mean, for God's sake, Taurean, she was on that show on BET, American Gangsters, about the Smith brothers case. There was these two brothers that they started off, I think, in the East Coast, but they made their way to the West Coast. They was in the Bay Area. They was living in Oakland. They wanted to do one last job, and they did it in San Francisco, but they had reason to believe that the heist was set up. But she only prosecuted them. She didn't prosecute the white dude who pretty much did it for possibly an insurance scam. But yeah, and she was bragging about how she was prosecuting them. Oh, we don't like people in San Francisco that commit crimes.
And one of the first things I heard about her was with the Oscar Grant shooting, and how the cop that shot him, he was supposed to get like a year or so in jail. And at that time, I don't know if she was the attorney general or the district attorney, but she was the one that was responsible for allowing that guy to get out of jail and not even serving a whole year after he killed that man.
Well, I mean, this is how she is. She called herself the top cop. She called herself the top cop. So, like I said, she was look, she had like hundreds of cases or reports on her desk about police brutality. She never did a damn thing. She never did a damn thing. She ignored them. Okay? She ignored them. She didn't care. She was for cops not wearing body cameras. And most of these cases that got reported was, of course, police brutality against black people. Which all of a sudden she's supposed to be part of this community. She did nothing. She didn't care. Like I said before, and then when you bring this up, she just starts grinning because she knows it's true. She had a lot of her cases dismissed because of evidence tampering, a lot of stuff. She had cops that was framing people. And once again, she did nothing. She did nothing. So once again, you have these people on TV talking about we need to support her. Support her for what? I'm not worried about no women on TV trying to bully me, or no women on the internet telling me that I'm hating and I need to support her. I don't have to support her, and I'm not going to support her because she's a cretin of a woman.
And see, this is why I'm
So
glad. This is why I'm glad that I have you on here, because you're from that area, so you know firsthand what it was like dealing with her in that position that she's in, opposed to someone who's from the outside. Like for me, for instance, who lives all the way on the East Coast. I haven't been to California, so I couldn't tell you. I can only go off of what people have been telling me. And like I tell you, every time I hear something about her, it's never ever good. And I kept telling people, if I never listened to anybody like Professor Black Truth or Jason Black like really give the rundown of this woman's history, I probably would have been one of the ones saying I supported her. And I'm glad that I decided to like really think critically and then go off of emotion. Unfortunately, like some of our people have done recently when it comes to this woman.
let me ask you something. You got to ask yourself a question. I don't want to hear this stuff about and then one of the smoke screens that you had a lot of these black feminists was trying to put up was, oh, well, she just was doing her job and all that type
Mm-hmm.
of shit. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So like I said, I guess Daniel Cameron was doing his job, right? But these are the same people that are called and like I said, I just saw a lot of hypocrisy, in particularly out of some black women, not all, because there were some, there was a lot that was riding with me. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about the ones that knew what time it was and they got past this so-called feminist unity that don't exist, because like I keep saying, she not for black people.
Right.
Keep in mind, once again, why are we supporting somebody that's on camera saying that she's anti-reparation and she not gonna do nothing that black people exclusively would benefit off of? So once again, why are we supporting her? Uh,
Because they hate 45. Their whole thing was we have to get 45 out of office. That's why I said
so
that.
what's next? So
Exactly.
what's next when you keep saying, okay, well, you got to get him off? What was they plan?
Exactly.
They
Exactly. Because
still haven't laid out a plan.
that's what I said. And the thing is, like, if you ask anybody who was supporting them what, like, what was their policies, they couldn't really tell you. All they can go back to is that they didn't like 45 and they had to get him out of office. That's why I said that the hit that 45 supporters and Biden supporters are one and the same, because if you remember back in 2016, 45 ran off of, oh, we're going to deport the illegal immigrants, we're going to build the wall, and we're going to make America great again. When reporters would ask his supporters, what, like, why are you voting for him, and they say make America great again, they say, then they would return and ask them, what does that mean? They couldn't tell them. Fast forward to this, and they asked them, why are you voting for Biden and Harris? Oh, because we don't like 45. So y'all basically are the same thing. None of you are supporting these individuals on policy. You're just doing it off of emotion. That's why I said they're one in the same, but it's just they're serving two different masters.
Exactly. He hit the nail right on the call. Okay, I would ask them that too. The only answer is, well, anything's better than 45. Are you sure about that? Are you sure? And see, that's the thing. A lot of people, that was their whole strategy. You never heard them make any promises. Hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Their whole campaign was like, oh, vote for him, vote for me because this dude's a racist.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're a racist.
Exactly.
That was their whole strategy.
Exactly.
Either
he's just the one that he's just the one that would smile a lot.
Yeah, so that was their whole strategy. They still haven't laid out a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so why are you telling people like me and you, hey, just give them a chance? Like I said, Kamala Harris had years of chances to redirect the wrong that was did, but she's supposed to be one of us. And I know it's some people that's listening to this stream that support her and they mad that we telling the truth, but I double dare you to come on my channel talking that shit about, I need to support this black woman. You mean this Indian this Indian woman? You mean this Indian woman?
You know why they keep something like she's black, and it's it's laughable looking back at it, and it's still laughable now. Oh, she wore some Chuck Taylors. Oh, she wore some Timbs that weren't even constructs. Oh, she went to Howard. Oh, she's an AKA. I'm like, that's all superficial. Like, that doesn't make you qualified to be black, because guess what? I've seen other people of other groups wear Chucks and Tims. I went to school with people who pledged a divine non-organization who weren't black, and they went to an HBCU. So what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah,
it's I said it's so, you know what? I made a joke on Twitter. I said you're gonna have a lot of AKAs who haven't paid their dues in so long. They're gonna dust off that membership card this year so they can be at the next event, especially if she gonna be there.
well, a lot of people need to remember this. A lot of those HBCUs were started by white people, so
Mm-hmm.
they need to remember that. So that's some food for thought too. You do know there's people that are not black at colleges like Grambling and
Exactly.
Clark and
Yeah,
Howard.
yeah. I went to HBCU and I know firsthand, because like I knew a white girl. She didn't pledge AKA, but she pledged Delta, which is another divine non organization, and she was the only white girl on the line of Italian descent. And I went to school, people who wore all kinds of different shoes, and that's the thing. That was where people should have went at black people who came at it like that. Oh, she wore Chuck, she wore Tim. So are you trying to tell me that a particular shoe is now aligned with black people? So if 45 was to come out and start wearing some constructs, does that mean he's black now?
I guess according to some of these people,
According to some of according to some of them.
yeah, and she knew the lyrics to Atomic Dog. Like,
right. Oh, Ricky Smiley pissed me off with that one. Oh, she knew my song. I'm a supporter now. I said, are you kidding me?
No, well, remember this. Like I keep telling you, she graduated from college in like 1986. Hey, like I said, she had Doggy Style and All Eyes on Me before it even got recorded. And she still, and Tupac been dead for like over 20 years, and she still think he the greatest rapper alive.
Exactly.
So I didn't know that all you got to do is wear some Timberlands or some Chucks, and that solidified you as black. But at the end of the day, that's what these politicians do.
Mm-hmm.
They know it's, like I told you, they know it's easy to infiltrate the black community. They know that all you got to do is do stuff like that and say a certain thing, and you can sit up there and say, hey, I know a quote by Malcolm X, and then black people would just be niggatized, not mesmerized, niggatized, and then oh, he or she is one of us. Mm-hmm. Nah. It take way more than that to impress me. I'm not worried about you wearing no Jordans. I'm not worried about you knowing the lyrics to Atomic Dog. And as a matter of fact, who don't know what Atomic Dog is? I mean, right. It's a common song. It's just like white people knowing the lyrics to My Prerogative. That don't mean that you still not a racist. You just happen to know the lyrics to. I mean, after all, you know yourself. If you play a song a certain enough amount of times, you gonna just know the song because they play it so much. So I mean, that don't solidify you as being black.
Exactly.
So I just couldn't believe how gullible and some of the stupidity that I saw in well, I don't want to use stupid, how naive black people have been throughout this fraudulent campaign. And it's really disappointing that we continue to take the bait. Because the question is, okay, so now that you in, what are you planning on doing? At the end of the day, for the people that supported her, I don't want to hear this stuff about, well, let's wait. No. You wanted them people in, so it starts as soon as they sworn in. Mm-hmm. It's none of this honeymoon stuff and give them a chance. No, like I said before, I cannot trust Kamala Harris because, like I said, she's done too much pandering, and then she's been caught in so many lies because like I said before, she doesn't identify herself as black. And then, like I said, you had a lot of these black feminists trying to bully black men and trying to attack black men for questioning her intentions, which, like I told people on my channel, y'all can't bully me. You ain't finna keep me from saying what I got to say. I'm not finna be what it look like me being scared of some woman over the internet or some cornball dude talking shit over the internet. Like that's supposed to scare me. Oh, you're a hater. Oh, give her a chance. Oh, you just don't like her because she's a woman. Support this black woman. Well, like I keep saying, when did she become a black woman? She
Mhm.
once again, Kamala Harris left the Bay Area like at age 9 or 10. She really went to school and like Berkeley, and then she went to high school in Canada. Like so, once again, they parading this woman like she really from the Bay Area, and she really isn't. So that's another thing that pissed me off. Yeah, she was born in Oakland at Summit at a hospital. I think it's now called Summit Hospital. That's about it. Because right after she got out the hospital, they took her ass to Berkeley, which Berkeley is the next city over, but it isn't exactly Oakland. I mean, it's not like she was hanging out in Oakland and stuff, like she was hanging out on Foothill Boulevard or something. And she was like, hanging out, at the sideshow or going to Bayfair Mall or going to Southland Mall or going to, Hilltop Mall back in the day. Like she was just hanging out. I could see that because she ain't said nothing remotely about Oakland. What has she ever said that resonates with Oakland? Nothing. Because when a person from the Bay Area, and particularly from Oakland, you're gonna be able to name certain places in Oakland that you went to, that you seen and stuff. You would know certain things about Oakland. Like I could sit up there and say, hey, Dryer's Ice Cream was started in Oakland. The Black Panther Party, the original Black Panther Party, was started in Oakland. You know, I went to Claremont Junior High. I went to Fremont High School. Like on the weekends, I used to hang out, drive down Foothill Boulevard, past Fremont High, all the way to MacArthur Boulevard, and you gonna know certain things about Oakland, certain things like, okay, Tony, they from Oakland. In Vogue, a couple of the members is from Oakland. You just gonna know certain things. Have you ever heard Kamala Harris talk like that or say anything about Oakland? Anybody can bring their ass and have a speech in Oakland, but are you really from Oakland? What do you know about Oakland?
I wouldn't have
And
known
like I
she
said,
was. I wouldn't have known she was from Oakland, and people didn't say that she was because I thought for the longest that she was from Canada.
well, she really is from Canada. She's just born here. So, like I said, another fraud that they was perpetrating, and they thought that would help too. When her name first started to show up, they tried to play that Oakland card.
Hmm.
So yeah, they tried to play that Oakland card, but you notice she never said anything that resonates with Oakland culture. Because like I keep saying, in California and particularly in the Bay Area, we had this different kind of culture. We had this different type of swag.
Hmm.
Like you always know a person that's like from, in particularly the Bay Area, based off how they talk, how they conduct
Yeah.
themselves. Like anybody that listens to my channel, they know I'm from Oakland because I got the Oakland swag, I got the Oakland dialogue. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Just like, when a person like from a certain part of the country, just like, a DC dude versus a New York dude or a Texas dude,
Hmm.
everybody got a different type of swag. And like I keep saying, when she first came out, she never like spoke as if she had any ties. You could just tell that she wasn't really comfortable with trying to play the whole Oakland card thing because she's not really from Oakland.
Exactly.
Just keeping it 100. But I am.
And now it's like also uh one thing that is getting me, you have a lot of. Oh, he fell off. Hold on, y'all. You back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to remember what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, that you have now. You have like a lot of one thing I hated that's going on right now is you have this thing where they say, "Oh, black women they saved America, they saved everything," and like that. And I said they're gonna let that go to their head, and then it's like it's gonna be up to us and other black women who aren't on that BS to bring them down back down to earth because you know their head's about to blow up. They already started. I saw a post on Instagram where you had Kamala saying and thanking black women for their contribution and everything like that, and you had black men who were talking about like how we're talking right now, like saying facts about her under the post, and you had other black women trying to banish those black men off of the post. How you gonna banish somebody off of a post that's not even yours?
Yeah, I'm asking black women do not fall for this because, like I said, it's a con. Do not be fooled by this. And I want y'all to listen to this closely. Think of it this way: of what Kamala Harris did to primarily black men. Once again, look up the Jamal True Love case. How even though he went and forgave her, but at the end of the day, that man rotted in jail for 5 years for a crime that he didn't commit. And Kamala Harris could have got him out, and she refused to. She was keeping black people in jail. She was against early release. She wanted you to serve pretty much the full extent of your sentence. Like I said, she argued against a lot of different things. Now, these black men and black women that she railroaded, think about this. That could have been your sister, that could have been your brother, that could have been your son, that could have been your favorite uncle. At the end of the day, I'm not saying, so please don't come with that, oh well, if you commit a crime, you do the time. Okay, I understand that, but there is a such thing as excessive time.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying it's thing of overkill. Like I said, at the end of the day, people should get a chance to redeem themselves, but she's part of that problem where black people don't get a chance to redeem themselves. If they make a mistake, it follows them the rest of their life. Where if a white person do something, they holler about I made a mistake and let's move on. Because it's funny when a white person do something to a black person, then they hollering that unity shit. They hollering that, oh, well, let's get past this. But then when a black person do something, they will never let them live it down. They will talk about it from when he's here to the day he dies. They'll
Mm-hmm.
say, well, when he was 6 years old, he got to a fight at the playground over, and they'll just bring that up. So I'm asking black women to proceed with caution. Do not trust Kamala Harris. This is
Exactly.
not this is not a victory for black women because once again, she doesn't consider herself black. At the end of the day, she played and pandered to the community to get
Okay.
where she is. Once again, she says she's anti-reparation.
And
Okay.
she said that with the swiftness and with a lot of diction in her tone, like she was very certain of that. But let's not forget, and people forgot about this, and I talked about this on my channel when I first heard about it. This is the same woman who said out of her mouth, I think it was last year, that she was going to create, like if she was to get into the position that at the time she was running for president, that she was to get into a position where she could do it, she was going to create federal government style jobs and like some high position jobs for immigrants, for people that aren't even from here. I'm like, y'all better be careful with who you vote for. I know y'all say y'all don't like 45 and everything like that, but whatever, I said like this, whatever her and Joe Biden do in this administration coming up, that's going to be a reflection of all the people that voted for her. But then they gonna be left holding the bag because they will realize like, okay, I didn't know she was gonna do this. I bet you didn't, because all you focused on was we got to get 45 out of office. Is 45 the best person? Hell no, by not any means. But at the same time, you have to know who you're voting for. It's a vetting process. You have to know who these people are. And when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were both asked about reparations, they both pretty much gave the same exact answer. Quite honestly, most of the people who was running gave that same exact answer. The only person who came out the gate and mentioned something about reparations, even though it was on a very low ball end, was Marianne Williamson. And you saw what happened to her. They pretty much tanked her campaign before she even really got started.
Oh yeah, well that's what I'm trying to warn these sisters. I like we not against Kamala Harris, because here's the thing. Let's just keep it 100. Let's just say Kamala Harris name was, you know, Jamal Johnson or something, and was married to a white woman. I do not think they would be such a push for him, and had the record that she had as a attorney general and a DA. I don't think they would be pushing to get him in office. Cause see, it's a lot of hypocrisy for real that went on with Kamala Harris. But I'm going to address it on my channel. If not today, I'm definitely going to address it tomorrow. And I'm begging black women. I'm not asking them. I'm not telling them. I'm begging black women, do not be fooled by Kamala Harris. She is not one of us, and she is not for us. Now, she flat out basically said that she gonna cater to people that don't look like us and create jobs for them. Well, you know what? That government job, instead of going to you know, whatever, Teresa, could go to Tamika, or could go to you know, somebody that's more qualified. So while y'all sitting up here pumping her up, sitting up praising her, I'm telling you, this is the clearest thing of buyer beware. And I hope these sisters heed the word. Me and you are not against Kamala Harris because she's a woman.
Exactly.
Has nothing to do with that. We against her because of her policies and what she's done to the so-called community that she's supposed to be part of. This stuff is not hard to find. I know they tried to erase a lot of her history and tried to put articles in where they was trying to talk around it. But like I said, there's some videos that I put up about her history, about her lies. You know, here's some food for thought that I was going to share this on my channel, but I feel like this. I feel like you have a bigger outlet, so people need to hear this. Let me show you that Kamala Harris is a liar, and she's full of it. She said that her mother raised her as a black woman. I found those old pictures of Kamala Harris dressed in that Indian attire. And then did you know also that her mother, when she would fill out paperwork, her mother would say she was white?
I can believe it.
So how are you raised as a black woman when your mama saying that she was white? So this is one of the many lies that Kamala Harris has told.
The blackest Kamala has ever been was probably when she went to Howard, and that was about it.
Exactly. I'm just asking black women, don't take the bait. Do not be fooled by this. This is a trap. It's a trap. Like I said, she flat out. So let me get this straight. This so-called black woman that says she against reparations. She says she's not going to do anything that specifically benefits black people. And she says she going to create federal jobs for immigrants. What about us? So once again, I ask this question. Once again, why are you supporting her? Like I said, it wasn't really us that was parading her around as black. You had these people like Jamil Hills of the world trying to attack black men in behind her, and we already know Jamil Hill. We know Jamil Hill and Simone Sanders. We already know what they all about. And Jamil Hill, I'm gonna just keep it 100. Jamil Hill need to just come out the closet and say what she really is, and stop hiding behind this fraudulent marriage. Okay, because we already know what she really is. Because the vitriol that she have towards black men, no, I'm sorry, no straight woman could have that type of vitriol and hatred towards black men and try to pass herself off as straight. I'm sorry. Nice try. So I mean, I'm just saying, you know, she should just change her name to Jamal Hill and just call it a day. The same thing with Simon Sanders and people like her and those nobodies like Claudia Jordan, a nobody, you know. And I forgot that other it's another one's name. It's a few of them, you know, trying to pass. Like I said, I'm just asking black women to just don't take the bait. We're not against y'all. Because like I said, everybody knows that my channel is pro black woman. Because like I said, my mother is a black woman. So like I said, I'm not attacking her because I don't want her to prosper and all this stuff. Like I said, if that sister that tried to prosecute those cops And you already know, Taurean, what they did to her case that tried to prosecute those cops that, killed Freddie Gray.
Oh,
If she
yeah.
had ran, I would have supported her because she actually tried. But we already knew they was going to sabotage her case, which they did, and if she would have ran, I would have been backing her 100%. And if she ever does decide to run for office, I'll back her because unlike Kamala Harris, she's always said she was black. So I'm just saying, Kamala Harris, I'm still trying to figure out. So how are you black when your mother was saying that she was white, but you was raised to be a black woman? Do that make any kind of sense?
None.
Did that make any? I'm waiting for somebody to explain to me how does that make any kind of sense.
And you know what I actually found out recently? That Kamala Harris used to date Montel Williams, the talk show host. I did not know that until like recently when I saw a picture of them together, like from way back when.
Yeah, but look who she decided to
go
procreate.
She didn't even procreate with him. She don't have no kids with that man. Those kids he has
she
are from his. Yeah, those kids that he has are from a previous marriage.
Wow.
Those kids are straight up white.
Okay, so that's really alarming. I've seen her sister though, but the funny thing is her sister is married to a brother though.
Okay.
Been with him for a while. She got her sisters with. Hey, I would have rather she ran, but maybe if she would have ran, I would have been more inclined. But yeah, Kamala Harris, and that's another thing. The her alleged affair with former San Francisco Mayor
Willie Brown.
Yeah. So like I said, she got very shaky history.
But on the flip side, though, one reason I am glad that 45 lost is because all these grifters are in their feelings. I mean, they are knee deep in their feelings right now because they know they about to be tossed out of the big house.
Yeah, they got to get prepared for the transition. Like I said, I never supported that dude. I never supported that dude whatsoever because keep in mind, I brought up his history of racism. And the sad part about the Trump supporters is funny, or should I say the former Trump supporter, it was funny. You know how I found out about Donald Trump really back in the day, which was so hilarious, Taurean, through hip hop. This man's name was mentioned in so many rap songs to where I couldn't keep count back in the early 80s. I mean, the mid 80s to 90s and stuff. This man, and now all of a sudden these rappers acting like they didn't distance themselves. That's how I got wind of Donald Trump. And I remember I was a little bit familiar with Donald Trump because they had this football league called the USFL that it tried to compete with the NFL. I think it lasted maybe 3 seasons, and I know Donald Trump was the owner of a team called the New Jersey Generals or something, and the league folded. I
heard about that.
Yeah, and they sued the NFL, right? And it was funny, right? They won a settlement for $1. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. You can look this up. This is documented. They settled for $1. They sued the NFL, I guess, for antitrust, and they won exactly $1. Wow. It was when I say that was the most hilarious thing I'd ever saw in my life. But yeah, that's one of the ways I heard of Donald Trump. But then I started hearing him in all these rap songs and stuff. So I'm just laughing at the hypocrisy with some of these rappers and shit that's acting like they just so anti Donald Trump, but y'all was always mentioning this dude in y'all songs. So that's how I got wind of that dude. That's just funny now. And now that the dude became president and had a disastrous in many people's eyes 4 years in the White House, now everybody is trying to distance themselves from this dude. So
yeah, like I did a video on my channel about this guy whose name is Jaron Smith, and he was 45's most highest ranking advisor, and he was a black guy. I never heard of him until that day. My subscribers never had heard of him, anything like that, and they said that he after doing his 4 years there, he said that he's basically leaving or he quit his position. I said, how ironic that you quit your position the week of this election, which was like 2 weeks ago now. And I had somebody who wasn't, first off, wasn't even from the States. They all the way in the UK, came over and tried to argue me down and saying, like, how can I talk bad about this black guy who's just trying to make a living and everything? I was like, I'm not trying to talk down on him making a living. I said, if you listen to the video, you'll know why I said what I said. And when they talked about the company that this guy kept, like they said he was good, of course, with 45. Then they mentioned the Koch brothers. Then they mentioned Jared Kushner. And then they said Tim Scott. I said, okay, that lets me know he had no connection with grassroots black people at all, just by the company he kept.
Mm.
And so, and the person, he got upset with me because I talked about him because he was a black guy and then tried to call me a racist. Now, mind you, this person is a black person and he all the way over in the UK. I said, let me go to their channel because I already know they're trolling, but let me go to their channel to see what they're talking about. Then I saw a video they were talking about George Floyd, and they was basically saying George Floyd is not my martyr. I said, okay, I know where he's headed with this one. Then I clicked on the video. I listened to a little bit of it. Then I went down to his comments. He only had 2 like comments or something like that. And then I saw a comment he left under, or he was replying to, and he said that George Floyd was a thug hooligan.
Yeah, well, those type of people, they exist everywhere, and like I keep saying, it's to the point now, Taurean, sometimes we can't even give those guys attention. We just got to plow them down, or just plow right through them, because at the end of the day, they stand in the way of process. Sometimes we help them by responding to them. It's people like him, they ain't big enough to respond to. But yeah, it's guys like him that always have an angle that's gonna go the opposite direction. Because like I said, I don't care what happened with George Floyd before that incident with the cops. He didn't deserve for that to happen with him. At the end of the day, if he did something that he didn't have no business doing, obviously he was trying to redeem himself, because that's the thing. Once again, that shouldn't have happened to him. He shouldn't have died the way he did, like treated like he was just a bottom of the barrel, like he was just nobody. And that's a subject within itself that we gonna have to continue to address. But guys like him, I don't even worry about guys like him no more. If I feel they deserve to get either, I'll respond to them. But it's certain people I'm not gonna give no attention to. Like that Puerto Rican chick that tried to basically clout chase, by trying to go after Tariq Nasheed, that basically nobody is thinking about now. And that's basically what she was doing. She was trying to gain some steam by trying to come on Tariq Nasheed's channel, trying to debate with him and all that kind of stuff. And she got bodied, and now ain't nobody thinking about her. But at the end of the day, we have to watch out for those type of people. Some people we just can't give them the attention. But like I said, guys like him, there are plenty of those type of dudes. But I wonder would he say the same thing if that happened to a palm colored person.
And that was the thing too, because when I had did the video about that guy, he had left a comment about another person who was a white guy who left, I think, around the same time as him. He said, well, I didn't see you talk about this guy, so this lets me know that you're a racist. I was like, okay, whatever. You, like, if that's what you want to think, so be it, but you all the way over in the UK.
Well, first of all, let me speak on that. Anytime when I hear a black person or a Powder Milk Village member say that a black person is a racist, it's just the most laughable thing that's out there. There's no such thing as a black racist, because I'm still waiting for a white person to tell me, well, when did we go to a well-off neighborhood with like Black Wall Street and just start like burning the area down and murdering people? When did a person come to our area hollering about that a black woman come into our area saying that a white man raped them, or and we went over there and started to murder them and terrorize them? Like I said, when did a 14-year-old white kid get murdered for whistling at a black woman? You know, when have we what jobs have we denied them? What opportunities have we denied them in this country? What form of power have we ever had to, you know, hold them back? So I need for somebody to explain that to me. When did we go to their neighborhoods burning crosses?
They can't even. They can't call. They can't say it. They can't call it.
Exactly. What tripped me out, like I always say, they had their nerves not liking us and having an issue with us. If anything, we should have an attitude towards them that they have towards us. But you know us, we quick to forgive everybody. Yeah, we forgive everybody. We'll forgive anybody that say something or do something to us. But then if somebody like me and you accidentally bump into somebody, then here we go with the, hey nigga, you better watch it. You ready to get down. But you won't say nothing. You ready, hey, you ready to fight with Tyreek. But then, you know, if Bill bump into you, oh man, it's cool. Hey man, all right.
And speaking of her, while we're on the subject, well, not of her, that person you mentioned, but someone like her, let's talk about Eva Longoria. She kicked the hornet's nest with this one. You know, when she went on and was trying to like have Latinos or Latinas take the credit for getting Joe Biden and Kamala Harris into office, and black women rallied together and went in on her. I said it's amazing though, because they'll get on cold for that because they don't want someone to take their shine. But when it's really time to get on cold, then it's like it's something completely foreign.
To me, it was laughable that even Longoria did that. But like I said, the same thing with that chick, the Puerto Rican chick that was trying to call herself trying to clout chase. This is what she was doing. This was clout chasing 101. Because I told you, Taurean, whether good or bad, we did suffer some of the biggest tragedies this year from you know, Kobe Bryant to Chadwick Boseman, and then George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Doug Lewis. I mean, just continuous incidents. You know, the brother in Wisconsin. We just, so whether it's fake love or people actually care, a lot of focus been on us. And what happened is a lot of these outsiders, it's more green-eyed monster than actually caring. And it was like, dang, these black people, they getting a lot of shine. Oh, why ain't nobody talking about us? So at the end of the day, she knew it would draw attention because we already know she hasn't done anything relevant. And shit, God knows when, since Desperate Housewives. Besides Desperate Housewives, her only
and that show been on for how many years?
Yeah, for a while. I mean, and her claim to fame is Desperate Housewives and being married to Tony Parker, who played for the San Antonio Spurs. So besides that, she hasn't done anything relevant. So of course, like I said, it's a ploy, Taurean, to get her name back in the news. She knew people would get pissed off. And then she knew somebody would bring her non-black ass on a channel or a panel to talk about that bullshit that she was putting out. And once again, I'll find myself, I cannot believe that I'm defending black women in behind who supported Kamala Harris. But at the end of the day, I'm still trying to be on code because I ain't never gonna ride against black women or black men, especially for somebody that ain't part of the group that's non-black. That's just my thing. I live by the code, die by the code, stick with the code because it's implanted in me. So at the end of the day, I still had to defend the black women, even though the ones that's supporting Joe Biden, Jim Crow Joe, and Kamala Harris, they don't deserve to get supported. But at the end of the day, they feel like this is their moment. So let them have it without somebody like Eva Longoria trying to impose on their moment and trying to co-opt their movement. No, they didn't we helped get them over the hump because the so-called black cities, they won the so-called black cities with the black vote. So to sit up there, like I said, even Longoria is a liar, but at the end of the day, we get it. She was trying to bring some attention to herself because, like I said, a lot of this is jealousy. Like a lot of these non-black ethnic groups, they just mad because all the shine had been on us this year from just various different groups. So they feel like they had to find a way to get in or to bring some notoriety to themselves by trying to diss us. And that's what they always do. They sit up there and act like they cool with us, but then they'll diss us at the drop of a dime. But we sitting up here.
And then you had Kerry
Yeah.
Washington defending her as
Well,
you.
we knew it. We knew it was coming. Me and you both knew it was gonna be one. I was surprised. You know who I'm surprised didn't come to the rescue? I'm surprised that Terry Crews didn't pop up, because you know how he loved. You know how Terry Crews loved going against the grain. So I'm surprised. But then again, maybe we speak it too soon. I'm pretty sure he might have something to say, because you know he'll defend anybody but black people.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? All them muscles and they ain't got no brain. So we knew it was coming. So, like, you know, Taurean, this is just textbook. Me and you both knew this was coming. I was just thinking to myself, I wonder who's gonna be the first black person to defend Eva Longoria. I thought I should have took a bet. Maybe I should have took a poll. Would it be Whoopi Goldberg? Would it be, you know, but it was Kerry Washington. But Kerry Washington, she got a long history of trying to sneak this black man too, to a certain degree.
And she's in the same boat, and she's in the same boat as Jamel Hill, because she's married to a black man. Now, what's crazy is a lot of people don't even know that she's married. One, that she's married to a black man, and two, that she's even married, because she rarely ever talks about her husband. The only time people really figured out that she was married was when she was pregnant. Like, she couldn't hide her pregnancy. And that's how a lot of people found out she was even married. It's almost like, are you ashamed of your husband, or does he just not like to be in the spotlight? Because every time we see you at events, you're always by yourself. And I mean, always by yourself.
Yeah, and that's funny. Do you know who her husband is? Because I can tell you who her husband is.
Didn't her husband used to play football?
Yeah, he used to play for the Raiders. Namni Azamawat. You know, he's acting now. You know, he got a movie that's on Prime with that chick who I side-eyed, Tessa Thompson, you know, who basically defended that deplorable movie Cuties.
Oh.
Yeah, her.
Yeah, I know who Tessa Thompson is.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, she played in Creed, both of the Creed. Yeah. And she defended that movie, Cuties, which I'm glad that we worked to get that movie abolished.
That was a whole nother situation right there when that happened.
And she tried to defend that lady that made the movie, and I just looked at her sideways. I was like, but we knew it was like that. Really make you question. That make you question what type of person she is. Make you wonder what the hell she doing.
But Tessa Thompson always has struck me as like a weird person. Like, she's definitely, without a doubt, a feminist for sure. She's almost like on the scale of a Janelle Monáe, and that's nothing. That's nothing to throw a parade over.
Yeah, and that's funny. I used to be a big fan of Janelle Monáe's music. But of recently, she just like I say, I just give her the side eye. Her and Tessa Thompson, when she tried to defend that movie Cuties, I just like, okay, so you on the radar, and like I'm kind of like on steer away from you. I kind of got to leave you alone if you try to defend something like that, because like I said, I got young nieces. I just got a lot of females in my family, and that just
I couldn't believe people. I couldn't believe people. Well, I could, but I couldn't believe people actually defended that trash. Like, the arguments that people put up to try to defend that was amazing, and not in a good way.
Yeah, I was just taken back when I saw that there were people. And the sad part about it was, Taurean, some of those people that tried to defend the movie look like me and you. And or should I say, it was a lot of women that tried to defend that movie.
And you know why they tried to defend that movie is because a black woman directed the movie. But
But these,
it makes me wonder if it was a black guy that directed it, would they have had the same energy? And I highly doubt it. See, that's why I keep telling people that the sisterhood is a failed operation. It really is. And I think you talked about that on your channel with the ebony and ivory thing.
yeah,
It's a
I,
failed.
I,
It's a failed operation. It started off failing and it's still failing to this day.
and it will continue to fail because I'm warning and I'm asking black women, don't fall for this fake ebony ivory sisterhood, because you being used. White women will never see black women as they equal. Like I say, they will do the same thing as white men do with black men. Uh they will align themselves with them to gather up information, but they will always try to keep you walking behind them instead of uh alongside with them. Now, if they'll use you to go against us, yeah, if they had the opportunity to destroy a black man, yeah, they sure will use you, and they'll holler that sisterhood, that womanhood stuff. And then when you no use to them, they will toss you to the side. So for real, they will toss you out like uneaten food. They will toss you in the trash. So I'm telling the sisters, don't fall for that fake ebony ivory sisterhood thing. Once again, it's a facade; it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm. You've been warned. That's all I got to say.
Right.
You've been warned. You can heed the message, and you can heed the message, or you can ignore it. But you're gonna learn the hard way. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying though. This stuff about this feminist sisterhood movement doesn't exist, because if that's the case, keep in mind these same women are saying that you know Trump is a racist and all this kind of stuff. Well, they said this particular election, more women, white women in particularly, voted for Trump than the last election. So what does that tell you? But you saying this dude is a racist, so shouldn't that mean the white women that vote, the more white women that voted for him this time around, don't that mean they racist?
Mm-hmm.
Can't have it both ways. So I'm just saying, this is what you call buyer beware, and you shouldn't buy it. You need to, you need to say, I'll pass, easy pass.
Exactly. But some are so ingrained in it that they can't pull themselves out of it. Like some of them have literally made that a lifestyle for themselves. Unfortunately, but it'll bite them in the ass when they realize, when it comes to that point.
Hopefully, it don't hit them so hard to where it don't end up biting them in the ass. There's always the opportunity to pull away. Trust me, and you should do it. I'm telling y'all, sisters, don't do it. Like that song Public Enemy made in 1988. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe it. Don't trust it, because it doesn't exist. There is no sisterhood. There's no fake ebony and ivory sisterhood, because like I said, when all these incidents was happening with Sandra Bland and all these other black women, all these black girls that's missing.
Mm-hmm.
Where was this? Where was this ebony ivory sisterhood? You got to understand, when the lights are on, people, keep in mind when the cameras start rolling, then all of a sudden, you got white people that want to throw their fist in the air and holler Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, and unite and end racism and all this type of crap. But at the end of the day, when they get back to their home, you know what I'm saying, get back in the comfort of their own home, they go right back to calling you the N-word with
Exactly.
the ER, with the ER. So once again, I keep saying, don't fall for it. Okay, so stop believing it, because like I said, we still don't know what happened with Sandra Bland. To this day, we don't know how
Mm-hmm.
she mysteriously died.
When they threw her under the bus, because I don't know if you saw the special or the documentary that they did on her. It was on HBO. I think it came out in 2018, and I had watched it and I had did a review on it. And people were like really behind her, but she was very strong in her point. She almost reminded me of a female Darren Seals, and you know what happened to him. But when she started to speak out against the academy, that's when a lot of people, especially a lot of black women, and this is why I keep telling black women, y'all do not need to be carrying the water for the academy, but they continue to do it anyway. That's when a lot of them started to scale back against her in saying that she was this and that phobic. And when she died, or when they found out about her death, many of them had a very standoffish attitude towards her. They did the same thing with Shahrazad Ali, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, and people like that. That's why I said y'all will be the mule for almost anybody, but many of you probably wouldn't even help your man start a business.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because, like I said, I try to tell black people, in particularly black men and black women, we in this together. You know what I'm saying? We are in this together. This isn't no, where you do have people that speak divisiveness and try to sway black women to be against black men. But at the end of the day, we only can win this fight together. And I know about her. I know about Miss Ali. I know about her. I never bought any of her books, but I seen her speak on television, and a lot of the stuff that she talked about is happening now. The same thing with Dr. Francis Quest Wilson. Everything that she predicted in the 70s is going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta talk about that. I gotta talk about what they really trying to do, because what they really trying to do, to a certain degree, they trying to use the black woman to basically replace the black men. That's why they pushing certain agendas on TV, that they're aiming towards black men and aiming towards black women. But I'm gonna say that for my channel. I want you to watch those videos, and then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back on here, and then we gonna discuss it, because, like I said, I have the receipts. You start to see a pattern in certain things, even in television. You start to see a pattern what they trying to do. At first, I'm thinking of this new movement. Like I said, I'm all for the sisters having power. I'm all for the sisters having power and doing their thing. But at the end of the day, having power don't mean that you have to demean your black man and put down your black men.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where they get that misconstrued. You don't have to attack a black man and demean him and put him down to feel like you empowered. Because at the end of the day, if you had the resources and you can help another black man, get over the hump, you should try to help him. Only if he wants to be helped. Because, like I said, I don't know everything. If there's a black woman that want to help me elevate myself and do some different things, I'm willing to listen. I don't have that. I don't have an ego. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you had a resource to where you can help me, you by all means. I don't care about you being a woman, but at the same time, you don't have to demean me and put me down, because I'm gonna tell you something. The problem that I see is, are you gonna talk to a white man or another non-black the way that you talk to a black man? Because I just see this conditioning. I just see these things where I see a black man is spoken to in a way that a non-black will never be spoken to.
Yeah, it's almost like being talked to as if they're a child or even a pet.
Exactly. And like I said, that starts at the household, when you condition to believe that this particular looking man don't have no value to himself, or he doesn't, because a lot of times we've been made to believe that, in particularly us black men, there's no value to us. The only thing we can do, is that they think we can do, is play basketball or sing or something like that, where we're not made to feel like we can become CEOs, that we can become billionaires and stuff. They will push that movement more towards black women, because at the end of the day, it's not as far as the entertainment business go, as far as being overall, the sports thing go. Let's just face the fact. I'm just keeping it real. Like, women boxers are not going to make what guys like Floyd Mayweather make, and the same thing in the music business to a certain extent too.
And definitely the same thing when it comes to basketball. Like, I can't count how many times the argument of, when it comes to the WNBA, that they said that they feel that they deserve to be paid more money. I said, there's a lot of reasons why y'all are not getting paid a lot of money. And like we could be here for the next 30 minutes just going over a list of why that is. And it's not because you don't have the skill or anything or you're a bad player. It's just that for one, look at the timing that y'all have your season. It's in the summertime and everything like that. Everybody has pretty much sports fatigue by that time. Also, your stuff really isn't televised like that. You don't have a big fan base. Like the WNBA back when it first got started is not the WNBA of today by far. Then the NBA is keeping y'all afloat to keep your seasons going. If they was to pull from you, the WNBA would cease to exist.
I'm just gonna keep it 100, and I don't want any women to think this is an attack, but let's just face the fact. The WNBA ain't nothing but a tax write-off for the NBA, because at the end of the day, nobody really cares about it. They are losing money every year. There's not a viewership for it. Nobody really goes to the games. So for them to sit up there and think, that they should make what Kevin Durant is making,
ridiculous.
It's absurd. And for them to even say that, that's just being delusional and that's just being in denial. Like, I'll put it to you this way. Now, there's this female boxer. She's very good. Her name is Carissa Shields. She's marketable, she's sellable and all this kind of stuff. But then you got to ask yourself, can she bring in 20,000 people to her arena to see her? Can she sell 1 million pay-per-views? So you have to ask yourself that kind of question when they say, well, I want to make what men are making. And like I said, I love Carissa Shields. So I'm just saying. But you have to ask yourself, Taurean, is there an audience for women's boxing? One, they fight 2-minute rounds instead of 3-minute rounds. So you have to ask yourself that. Like I said, if it's an audience, now, like I said, if Carissa Shields headlines a pay-per-view and she does 1 million pay-per-views that she headlines and all, and she sells out a 20,000 seat arena eventually when shit get back to normal, then more power to her. But as of right now, she can't sit up there and ask and say she should get what the man is getting, because to be honest with you, that's not fair. And she not keeping it 100. It has nothing to do, it has nothing to do with her being a woman, but it's just factual.
Yeah.
You gotta you ask for what you bring it in. Like
speaking of women boxers, the only reason that Layla Ali got the attention is because of her name. Look at who her dad is, Muhammad Ali. So of course people are going to give her a leg up and more attention because of who her dad is. That's legacy right there. And to be honest, Layla Ali is probably the only female boxer that was able to bring in good ratings because she retired undefeated.
Yep. Well, she fought certain type of competition as well, but I mean, at the end of the day, she did retire undefeated. I know they've been talking about trying to match her up with Carissa Shields. When, by the way, I just don't see that happening because, like I said, one, it got to be an audience for it, and it got to be an audience. It got to be like it. And keep in mind, Layla Ali is 43 now, and I mean,
that's not happening.
I think it's kind of laughable to think that they could try to get her to come out of retirement. She says she in shape, but she not in boxing shape.
Yeah, I remember one of the fights I remember with Layla Ali, and this was a big fight at the time, was when you had her going against Frazier. So you had legacy daughters going against each other. And of course, Layla Ali won. So it was like literally history was repeating itself, but through their children.
Yeah, and they was able to market that. One of the very few times they was able to market that. But then at the end of the day, you knew who she was. But then it wasn't one of these things like what it is now, where I can't wait to get home from school, or should I say on Saturdays when most big fights take place. It wasn't like, oh man, the world stops. Like I said, we all know when Floyd Mayweather fought, if you was a boxing fan, that Saturday, Floyd got your money. People was like, I got to get home so I can watch the Floyd fight. And Layla Ali never possessed that. Like I said, she had it with the Frazier thing because of the history between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, the bad history that they had. So I mean, you know, but that's the point that I'm trying to make. Like, it's like it got to be consistent, and that's the difference between us. Like I said, where in sports, that's supposed to be our realm. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's supposed to be our realm, because keep in mind, in most, in most, I mean, in retrospective, they don't think, like I said, beyond sports, we can do something.
Mm-hmm.
That's why while we're on the court playing basketball and stuff, and football and boxing, the women are getting the executive jobs, the marketing jobs, and all that kind of stuff. They in charge of how it's presented. So that's what I'm saying. They, as far as that go, they have the opportunity, where us, there, we're made to feel like that's all we can do. So
Now,
I'm saying that we need to start crossing paths more. Bring us into the executive jobs. Put us, put us behind the cameras. Put us in the boardrooms.
mm-hmm.
That's where we need to be headed. You know what I'm saying? It need to be more of us in there making the decisions, how we're presented.
Now, one thing I will say, this in defense of women's sports, because I've talked about this on my channel a couple times, is the infiltration of Hall T into women's sports. That, to me, is an issue, and it gives them an unfair advantage. Basically, a person who was, of course, biologically born a man or a boy, who now transitioned, quote unquote, and is now playing in women's sports. Of course, they're going to win. The testosterone is still there. But that also backfired on them, because you had a lot of women sports, or women in that arena, trying to be inclusive and saying, "Oh, this can be for anybody." I'm like, "Oh, ooh, y'all shot yourself in the foot with that one." Now you have biologically born men or boys who now are identifying as girls or women, competing against you in these very intense physical sports, where they are breaking your jaw and fracturing ribs and damn near killing you in the ring or wherever, and dominating you in certain sports.
Oh,
And now
I
you want to cry. And now you want to cry. I said, well, that's what happens when you are so, or trying to be so inclusive of literally everybody.
well, let's just face the fact, there's certain things that you can't do versus you can do. Now, I know what you're talking about. I know you talking about. I know in MMA they had some transgender chick competing against women, which that shouldn't have been happening.
Yeah,
That was absurd. That was just absurd. And first they was for it, but then the women was like, no, she shouldn't be fighting.
exactly.
She shouldn't be fighting us, even though that person lost the match against a woman. But they was like, well, damn, I damn near died trying to win that match. so,
Exactly.
so no, yeah. So I understand. I understand that. No, it's certain things. It's just certain things, that certain realms you just shouldn't cross. Like I
Exactly.
said, yeah, it's just certain. I know what you talking about. I was just like, I remember that they was like, no, no, this shouldn't be happening. And when I first heard about it, I was like, I don't think this is a good idea. So, and when they would start talking about this person was like fracturing they jaws and all this kind of stuff, and then because that shouldn't have been happening.
Exactly.
Shouldn't have been happening. So,
Well, one last topic I wanted to talk about, and it's something that actually just came out to, well, was it today? I think today. With the Ahmaud Arbery case, the judge denied the bond for those two hillbilly Chippendale looking idiots that was responsible for murdering him.
well,
They had a bond hearing, and the judge denied bond for both of them, so they are still in custody. And
well,
I think they probably did that because they were looking out for their own safety, because I think that's why they put them in jail to begin with.
yeah, I think, yeah, I know that they're in. I know they PC'd up. I know they in protective
Oh,
custody. So
most definitely.
yeah, they in the hood they call it PC up. So I mean, one side of me is looking at is as okay, good, because at the end of the day, now they know what it's like to rot. But then you wonder, like you said, their intentions of this. Is they trying to do it because they feel like the moment that they are sent home that they gonna get sent home? Because at the end of the day, first of all, you already saw the lies that was perpetrated from when this whole thing started. And I thank God that that man who owned the house had a camera, because basically you knew they was trying to turn this into something that it really wasn't. That this was just, they tried to portray him as a thug and all this kind of shit.
Yeah, even though on the camera it showed other people was walking and looking at their house, but when Ahmaud Arbery went over there, it was an issue.
Yeah, and they only decided to say something to him, and I give that owner of the house credit. He say, man, everybody come looking. Said he wasn't. He said, and I didn't have no problem with him being in there. He said, he said out of his own mouth, it was nothing to take. So he said everybody did that. And then they try to say, oh, he went in the house. He went in the house. That's why they approached him. And then all of a sudden, when them cameras turned up, that was the end of their angle to try to portray him as some no gooder that was just up to no good. He went in there, he looked, and he left. And that was pretty much it.
But I think what made them deny them bond was because they presented the judge some text messages that was being exchanged between the son and the dad that had a lot of racist messages in them concerning Ahmaud Arbery after they killed him. So that was taken into heavy consideration, and that's why they were denied the bond as well.
Well, to me, this should be, they still haven't officially labeled this a hate crime, because this should be considered a hate crime, because that pretty much what it is. And yeah, I had heard about them exchanging texts, and I heard that they was bragging about what they had did to him.
Yeah,
I heard they was bragging about, and I heard that they had called that dude the N-word. You know, somebody that was close to them said, yeah, they heard them refer to him as the N-word, which doesn't surprise me because that is Georgia. So I mean, so
and what got me about what that whole situation was when he was trying to defend himself, and you had people trying to speak against him, trying to defend him. So they said, well, he grabbed the gun. Well, what the fuck else was he supposed to try to do in that situation? He was trying to live, and the only way he felt that he could do it was by disarming them. Now, if it was just a one-on-one thing, he probably would have lived, but he was up against two people. And he was still fighting even after he had got shot the first time.
Yeah.
One of the people that was defending him was that Coonstress. That's why I said I'm making fun of them right now. The grift is almost over. You still there? I don't know what happened. He just it just went quiet for a little bit. I don't know if he's gonna come back or not. I was about to end the stream anyway, but I wanted to end it properly while he was still on here so I can let him give his outro and everything or plug his information in. But I hope everybody did enjoy the stream. This was a very good conversation that both myself and Townbizz had. Like I said, this is the first time I had them on my channel, but I know for sure will not be the last. Shout out to everybody who donated. Shout out to everybody who came through. I actually stayed on the stream a lot longer than I usually do, but you know that's usually what happens when I have guests. But I don't know if he's gonna come back, because I don't know. He just kind of went silent and it just fell off. But I'll text him and said that I ended the stream. But with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Glad y'all all came through. I'll be back, of course, to do the Friday live stream next Friday. Of course, I'll probably most likely be by myself when I do that. Make sure y'all stay tuned tomorrow, because I'm bringing a very, very important major update to the Kawan Charles story that I did yesterday. I was going to upload it today, but I decided to upload it tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna put it up to night so y'all can set y'all reminders. It is very imperative and important that y'all watch that video, because a lot, and I do mean a lot, of information came out about that since the first video I did yesterday that y'all are not going to want to miss. Trust me. But with that being said, I'm about to hop off of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm going to talk to you in the next one.